Yo, and what's good people, and welcome along to my latest video. Now today's video might be a little bit different to what I usually put out, but bear with me and hopefully by the end you'll understand what I mean. So we're going to be looking at the town of Ross-on-Wye today, which as you can see by my maps isn't actually too far from the location of King Arthur's caves and numerous tunnels in that area. Now it was actually a TV programme that I watched that brought this place to my attention. And as you're about to see from the image of Ross-on-Wye, there's a huge chunk of sandstone sticking out, pretty reminiscent of Bridgnorth, which had me wondering if the two places were alike. And yeah, we'll also ignore the pyramid-like shape in the background, looking like it's had its peak taken off and flattened. And a little look at the LiDAR and old OS maps, which don't actually appear to show much, but feel free to pause and have a look for yourselves. So what I want to try and show you today is, although there's a huge piece of sandstone here, probably as big as at Bridgnorth, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything around. And what's more is, I'm going to hopefully show you and prove to you that these features, namely the sandstone outcrops, aren't man-made. They aren't poured, cast or printed. These, as far as I can tell, are natural. And if you don't believe me, that's okay. But watch until the end and hopefully I can try and prove it to you. What you will see here is quite a lot of sandstone buildings, simply made from making blocks of sandstone, which if you join me in Kimber, we're hoping to show you in person, and I will record it and make a video for those that cannot make it as well. Anyway, as I was saying, you will see plenty of sandstone buildings here, both old and new. Even the ones that look painted are indeed sandstone with a facade over the top. Now, we get to what I would call the main feature. It's an old castle type of building here, which actually covers quite an area in the town itself. And yeah, this castle was a pretty impressive bit of engineering, as you can hopefully see from this window that extended out. And yeah, even here you should be able to see the difference between the natural and the man-made stuff. I mean, if it was all man-made, why would they do it like this? Why wouldn't it all be uniform? I will also show you a map shortly, which hopefully backs up what I'm saying. Like I say, there's just normal rocks, like natural sandstone there, and then the blocks above it. So yeah, this is around the back now, and even more remains of the castle. Parts of it have been modernised, but there's still sections here that look original. And yeah, it does make you wonder what it looked like in its prime. And the pigeons also seem to love it here as well. I mean, parts of the wall were reminiscent of a dovecote. Like I say, there's a lot of sandstone buildings here, and there's even more of the old castle, which funnily enough there's not much mention of, but there's an old castle down the road from here, but I'm unsure if the two are connected. But if they were, this place would have been absolutely huge, as you can see here from the distance between the two. Now this is the back of the buildings that I showed you at the beginning, and there's some weird looking symbol on this building, which actually used to be a school from what I can gather. Now I see this symbol quite a lot, so it must be a club of some sort. Who knows? A few more pictures of what you're likely to see around Ross. There's an old marketplace, a wall with nothing to it, and also another wall showing absolutely nothing. And then there's these. I've never heard of these until my visit, called almhouses. Anybody ever heard of these before? Now they used to be and still are places certain people can live in and pay little to no money. Now what interested me even more was the plaque on the houses. They were repaired in 1575. That's repaired, not built. So how long have these buildings actually been here? The church adjacent is said to be over 700 years old. And it's mind blowing to think that almost 500 years ago someone was actually just repairing this place. And what's even more mind blowing to me is Ross is such a small place, and it's only got a population of about 11,000, which begs the question, how big the population was all those hundreds of years ago, and the need for things of this scale. I mean, the church itself was pretty impressive. It's the same everywhere I go. Numerous churches, buildings and the like, which make no sense if you actually start looking into the populations. We even spoke to an older gentleman outside the almhouses, and he mentioned to us how churches used to be used for entertainment before religion took over. Now, I should have delved further, but it wasn't until he'd gone that I'd actually thought about what he was saying to me. Now, unfortunately, I don't have much on the church itself, but I did manage to snap that, which made me chuckle. And I also saw this, so make of it what you will, but it appears to be a J and not a 1. And yet, anybody that sees something like this and doesn't ask questions, what is wrong with you? It clearly shows J700. I mean, what is that? Is it 1700? Is it 700? Or is it a totally different timeline? Now, I also saw this plaque mentioning an ice house, but yet nothing like what I have seen previously, although it says it was rebuilt in 2005. So now let's show you the sandstone outcrop that I showed you at the beginning. And yeah, I know what you're all thinking, oh, this is where the good stuff is, if it's anything like the other places that I've shown you previously. Well, unfortunately, this is where I'm bursting that bubble. As you are about to see, there's absolutely nothing here. Zero, nada, nothing except a chunk of sandstone. And yeah, it is a massive bit of sandstone as well, akin to Bridge North. But no, nothing. It's just a rock face, a sandstone rock face. And I hear people saying now, oh, they've smashed it all up, that's why. Well, okay, why isn't that the same at Bridge North and Kimber, for instance? Which leads me to why I don't think sandstone is a man-made feature. Why pour, print, or whatever you believe, such a huge piece for absolutely no reason? Now yeah, I did used to think it, but that's when I was blind at the beginning. I've since been to and seen numerous places now, so I feel like I've got better knowledge and I don't have the blinkers on. And I see these places differently now. They're simply not man-made. I mean, look at this map for instance, and judge for yourselves, and ask yourselves why. Just concentrate on the grey, the white and the pinks in particular. And yeah, I know it's not all sandstone, but the majority of it is. And it's not just in little bits either. I mean, I'll have to go for a drive in my area one day and film it all, just so you can see what I mean. I mean, just look at it. How is all this sandstone in the UK man-made? How is it even possible? Just think about it. The time, the effort, not to mention the sheer volume of materials needed for something like this to happen. Then think about engineering today. Think how long it takes to do something today with the resources we have. Yet there's people out there that claim this nonsensical BS with little to no actual proof. Now, I've been to a number of places and I've driven through plenty more now to make a judgment that it is virtually impossible for this sandstone to be fabricated. It just simply isn't. It's one of the easiest rocks to work with, hence why so many have caves and tunnels and the like, but not all of them. And like I say, I can make numerous other videos showing sandstone and the lack of any of the mentioned features. And yet I can show you just how far it stretches, even though the map should give you a pretty good idea. So anybody out there that thinks these are poured, printed and then later destroyed into nothing, behave yourselves. I've been Nicky B, and until next time.